Yes, we're live. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. Checking off all the boxes for those tuning in from around the world. How's it going? How's it going? Okay, so today, let me grab some water. Today we have Inspired Instagram Live. I haven't been on for a week and I maybe had a little bit of withdrawals, but I'm back now. So I'm really excited to invite our new guest for the week. As you know, I invite our special guest in, give them a beautiful intro, and then we continue with what's going to come through. Ultimately, with Inspired IG Live series, as you know, it's a space, or if you don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, it's a space to inspire our creative entrepreneurs. Everyone's creative. Everyone's got some creative juices flowing, and this space has been open to inspire you. So those who have inspired me, I bring them on to inspire you, which is all very exciting. So let me invite our guest in. I feel like I don't know why I'm doing this really big grand reveal. Her name is in the, but anyway, her name is in the title. But this is exciting. Really, like, this is cool. This is super fun for me because I want to give you like some intro about how this particular guest, when she wants to come on, yay, how this institute has inspired me. It has been created by Victoria Redbard and has grown into this beautiful course, inspiring hundreds of just beautiful self-pleasure practitioners. And I'm really excited to be able to bring this to you. Okay, here we go. Accepting. Come on through. Come on. Let's go. So this institute, New Paradigm of Intimacy, has really inspired me. And I get to welcome the beautiful, I really wanted to like, when she pops up. Da, 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 da. Is unable to join. Okay. Wow, that's a real.
Ah, there we go.
Yay! And so the grand reveal. So this is Nikkiema Rai, everyone. Did you like? I was like, ooh, really gonna tease that in.
It took its time to join us up, actually. I was watching, I'm like, okay.
Anytime now. Anytime now.
Mhm.
How are
Mhm.
you?
I'm so great. I'm noticing that where I am is a lot colder than where you are, but it's actually just really enjoying a bit of cool and grey skies and like that cool, fresh air that's around today. It's beautiful.
Oh,
Mm.
that's my fave. I like that real crisp. Like it feels fresh. You know when you breathe in, it's like
Yeah,
I miss
absolutely.
you. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, same.
Aww. I always do this and it just appears, so you're welcome. I'm practically the emoji. I'm so glad that came through anyway. So yes, so thank you so much for joining. 2 secs, I'm trying to do the view request. Okay, are you? Where are you? I love lives. You just never know what to expect. So thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I'm so glad we have this still image of our beautiful Nikkiema. Except I'm sure she's going to come back. Yay!
I'm not entirely sure what happened there.
That's all
It
good.
started replaying what we'd already said to me. I'm like, okay, this is technology. It's beautiful for what it can do.
It really is. We're just kind of
Mm.
rolling with the punches here. And that.
Mm.
Okay, so you're still for me. I'm just wondering, am I moving for you?
Yes,
Cool.
you're moving for me. Yep. Mm.
Okay. And anyone who's tuned in, can you just let us know if Nikkiema's moving for you or is she still? I see there's a Mick and an Emily. If you're still there, holler in the comments. Oh, I love this. So
It looks
Just
great from my end if you can hear me.
yes. Well, you've got a really beautiful, like beautiful smile, and it's really quite like it's a beautiful snapshot of you. So I
That's
reckon in time it'll probably just start to feel the energy, and then I'm sure
yeah.
you'll move for me. But I'm
Okay.
just going to trust. How does that
All right.
sound?
Perfect. Sounds great for me.
Ah, yay! I'm just going to roll the punches. Um, So, for everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching it live, if you're watching in the replay, welcome to Inspired Instagram Live Series. So beautiful to have you. And today we have Nikkiema Rai from the Institute of New Paradigm Intimacy. So, she is a somatic sexologist. She's worked in the field and trained for over 6 years now. She's been studying at and now studying at the New Paradigm of Intimacy, and then also now a facilitator, which is such a big, it's so beautiful to be able to actually carry such incredible students through their self-pleasure journey and connecting to themselves, which is pretty beautiful. And I loved in your bio, which I love, it's like that best known for her transformational work changing women's lives through creating deep intimacy, pleasure, and connection. And I
Yeah.
feel like this session is like gonna be, I wish I could see you move. You've still got such a beautiful smile. I
I'm,
wonder if we can,
I'm so glad it's at least stopped on a smiling picture of me.
you look stunning. Like it's really nice. I really just want you to move though. Really want, I wonder if, no, no, we're just going to roll with the punches, my love.
Okay,
But I
beautiful.
can hear you and I can feel you. So yes. Um, so yeah, I'm just so grateful that you could come online today and join us and to really drop into that, the pleasure, the connection, and the deep intimacy with oneself. And because this space is all about inspiring creatives and to be able to drop into that space of deep connection with self, um, I'd love for you to speak on that space of how being intimate with yourself and having that deepness and that pleasure and connection helps you in your everyday life. Let's just go,
Hmm.
yeah, let's just go broad in this space.
Yeah, amazing. Well, uh, it's like it's such a broad way that it does impact you, and it really seeps into every area of your life when you tap into your body. We I love to reference, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. Um, and in essence, like, our body it stores everything that we've ever experienced. It has this beautiful innate deep wisdom and guidance that's available for us. We say at INPI, the body can be the oracle, and the more that you foster that beautiful connection and the more that you're able to tap into that intimacy, you become in relation to your body in a way that society hasn't really taught us in the past, but it gets to be this beautiful symbiotic thing where, we're leaning into it, we're allowing our body to be in its full expression, we're creating these beautiful connections within ourselves. And inevitably, what happens from that is that we then are able to experience those beautiful connections like out in the world. We are in touch with our innermost intuition, our innermost creativity. We're inspired and driven from this beautiful point of connection. So when we interact in the world, when we connect with others, we're coming from that place. Um, and I know that that really is broad, but the extent of it is so far-reaching. It's so beautiful. Mm.
Oh, I love that. It's that deep connection with self, and like you said, the body does keep the score, right? And you're so right. We're not taught about how it, like the one, if you can trust yourself, then you can also begin to trust others. The connection with self, then you can connect deeper with others. Um, there is, yeah, there's so much magic in that. And so what's inspired you to drop into a space of being in the space of somatic sexology and wanting to tap in into that deep sense of connection with self and your own body. What really inspired you to get into the space?
Well, my own personal journey, really, years ago, I thought that I was experiencing life, really well. And what I'd actually done is shut off to a certain extent, some of the processing that needed to happen and some of the depth of feeling. There'd been some things that had happened that were painful, and I was like, cool, I'm just going to have a good day every day. And what I come to realize over time was that because I was doing that and I wasn't connected into my body, I would actually been cutting myself off from deeper levels of pleasure and intimacy. And things were still great for me. Like day to day, they were good, but I wanted them to really be great. I wanted them to be mind blowing. I wanted, my experience in this life to be richer and deeper. And to do that, I found, this modality and embodiment and being able to like break down the barriers that I'd created in myself into that deeper connection in my body. I actually got to really be present with the things that were there for me, um, you know, elements of emotion and sexuality and pleasure. And as I did that, the more that I dove into myself, the more I like opened up and widened this spectrum of what I could feel. And, it meant that I felt all of my emotions deeper, which I get goosebumps as I think about this. Like the beauty of life is to be in this human form and feeling that full spectrum. The extent to which we feel the depth means the extent to which we can feel the pleasure. And when we open up both sides, um, it's really just such an inspiring journey. So for myself, it was about opening up and I found a couple of, like sexological bodywork and then the Institute of New Paradigm Intimacy, and I got to go on this beautiful unraveling of bodies and embodiment and sexuality and sensuality, and followed that for, well, years now, and to where I'm able to bring this to people as a facilitator for the Institute as well. Mm.
Whew. Isn't it just
Mm.
even hearing about your journey from it, even in your, from going from there was like the stagnancy of like before, and then the goosebumps started to like kick in, and
Yeah.
you could feel that change even in that share. It was like, whoo, just afterwards, and just feeling that deliciousness and the enjoyment and the fulfillment of life. And I was actually like, oh, could you give us an example of when that kind of landed for you, when you were like, whoa, I've been living, I thought this was a good life, waking up every day, doing the things, having a positive attitude, etc., and then coming to that past, after your studies and being facilitated now in this space. Like when did you feel the aha moment,
Mm.
like in an example?
There's been a couple
Yeah.
over the last few years, but I think some really pivotal moments have been when I've stepped into self pleasure and stepped into my own practices, and some deeper stuff has come up, grief and rage and things like that, and realizing that the full beauty of those and being able to like, wow, like yes, this might be grief here at the moment, but I can feel it. Like I can feel it so fully, right? And then the converse side of that was, perhaps like connecting with a lover and feeling that connection. Like the depth of the grief that I could feel in my self-pleasure was the depth of the pleasure that I could feel in connecting with a lover, and like the real converse depth of those things. And I was like, this is really where I want to journey, right? And this is what I want everyone to be able to experience in their life. Yeah.
Mm. And it's, because using like feeling those big feelings of pain and grief and rage, and a lot of, like I've even gone through my own journey of avoiding grief, like don't want to feel it, I will just, you just can suppress it. Yet, using the self pleasure and the space of grief, I don't think anyone would be aware that that's something that could come up, right? And
Well,
to feel
yeah.
that.
Yeah, often we think, you think self-pleasure and you think purely the pleasure side. And what it is for me, and and at the Institute, one of the things that we really believe is that self-pleasure actually gives you access to the full spectrum of being human, right? And it's about being in all the humility and all the beauty of being human. And yes, there can be some really strong emotions that we might have typically thought were like negative. However, like when you actually drop into those, the pleasure that you feel from actually allowing them to flow through your body, like it's kind of like not what's immediately comes to mind when you say pleasure, but it's a real honesty, like it's like a truth, and there's a pleasure from being in truth in your body. And sometimes we don't realize the extent to which these things actually impact our pleasure in other areas of our lives. Um, so, we don't realize if we're holding on to something in our body, how it's affecting us when we're out in our business, when we're out in our relationships, when we're in the bedroom, and being in that full truth of being in aliveness, then
Mm.
it translates to all of those other areas. And that's where getting really raw with yourself and your sexuality and the emotions and what is stored in your body has such a incredibly beautiful flow on effect.
Oof. Isn't it powerful? To everyone who's
Mm.
tuning in, thank you for joining us. I love that, Nikkiema. Just like the words of like your body is the oracle, and the truth and the honesty of those emotions that are coming up, and witnessing them and feeling them to the depths of those feelings, and not, yeah, it's just so beautiful how that can just, yeah, there's like a deep essence there and flow and understanding, and then how it can actually then trickle out into every area of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think a piece of that is, when like especially sexuality is something that has in the past, we're changing this now, has in the past been quite in the shadow realms and not spoken about. And then we create shame around it, and we create guilt around it and things like that. And we don't realize that we're carrying these emotions in our body. So we're going into a connection with someone, we're seeking deep intimacy, and because our body stores everything, we're going into what we think we're seeking, this beautiful deep intimacy, and we're carrying like perhaps some shame or guilt into that with us. So when we truly connect in with our body and we have the opportunity to feel and express those emotions, we have that opportunity to not carry them with us anymore. And I know there's layers to that, but really there's that truth piece through your body. Mm.
Mm. Oh, and I feel like there's a full moon coming up. So it's this release, right? Like releasing that shame and that guilt and that fear, and especially around the sexuality industry as well. There is so much density and so much shame, and to be able to move through those layers, especially with the
Mm.
work that you've been able to facilitate, it's profound. Yet I just don't think it's as, what would the words be? Uh, there is a sense of curiosity around it still.
Mm.
What would your thoughts be around that? Like, I feel like not everyone just walks around super embodied and super confident. Like, what, I guess, why do you feel maybe that it's not a common conversation to have?
Mm.
You know?
I think there's a couple of layers to this, and on an individual level, we all have different upbringings with our parents, or the families that we grow up in, or the not families that we grow up in. There's dogma that we inherit from those people, which sometimes we have those beliefs before we even realize that this is a taboo subject. And then society at large, we've come for the last, well, at least a couple of thousand years, and very much the last few hundred, we've come from what has been a traditionally religious-centered society, and that's created some beautiful values in society, and it also doesn't really foster sexual freedom, right? So we're we're existing here in this time in these bodies with a history of not being in that liberation, and I can see the snowball is rolling now, but it's just kind of like sitting, at the top of the hill. It hasn't gained all that like sprawling momentum that it gets by the time it's halfway down. And I think it's, a big part is just the society that we've existed in, and the stories that we've inherited from, from school and from the, community groups that we interact with. I think the exciting part of that is the opportunity that it presents us now, like knowing what is possible, is just thrilling, actually.
It's yeah, the accessibility to it is just, it seems more like within arm's reach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, And that's the beautiful thing, like our technology wasn't quite lining up for us this morning. However, things like technology, we have the world in our pocket for most of us these days. Our course is international. We have students from all over the world, and years ago you wouldn't have been able to do that. And as technology evolves, the accessibility evolves, and the more we're able to reach to more people, through that accessibility, the more that we then continue to remove the layers of shame and remove the layers of blocks to accessing it even further. So it's yeah.
It's so good. Even, yeah, all the international students that have come through the new paradigm of intimacy, it's like, it's a global movement. And that's something that's like super incredible. And seeing the aliveness of everyone, as they move through from the beginning to the end, and it's what is this potion? What is this? It's all very exciting. Um, so you mentioned a lot about like coming back into your body, and being able to move through the layers of those emotions, so then that way you can experience a deeper sense of pleasure, because you're no longer kind of suppressing, the the feelings of life. Um,
Mhm.
so what would be, so just, how could you take us through take us through something to be able to help us connect with our bodies? Is there something that's like could be done, like, because I'm sure that a lot of people would think, oh, cool, I need to go into a deep meditation for 25 minutes, um, and it could
Yeah.
be overwhelming. So for those who are
Yeah.
watching and wanting to be able to maybe feel a feeling or being able to come back to their bodies, what would be a technique or something that you would
Mm.
recommend?
Well, the real key components of embodiment, breath, sound, movement, touch, are all intertwined beautifully with mindfulness. And you can like sit down for 25 minutes or an hour and do beautiful practices. And what's really powerful is just taking moments through the day to check in with your body. And it can be as simple as like really taking a beautiful deep breath and making a sigh and a noise on the exhale. And when you do it, not just going through the motions of a deep breath, but really sinking into when you breathe in, how does that air feel going through your nostrils? Is it, a cooler sensation? Can you feel the movement? Can you feel it in one nostril more than the other? Like, what are you actually noticing when you breathe in? And just bringing that detailed mindfulness will really stop the chatter in your head and make you think, wow, I can notice, like just under my nostrils, on the top of my lip, I can feel the air moving, right? And you might not have ever noticed that particular small little part of your body before, right? So that's a beautiful moment of connection into your body. And then again, when you breathe out, How warm is the breath that's coming out of your mouth? Can you feel it on your tongue? Can you feel it on your lips? If you sigh when you breathe out, does it vibrate in your throat or does it vibrate, you know, down in your chest?
Mm.
Mine vibrates a little bit lower, like in my sternum, and I can feel that at the same time as I feel a really soft, warmer breath come out through my lips.
Mm. I feel like I could have a nap. It was really relaxing.
Right? So our nervous systems love this because
Mm.
it brings us out of whatever's happening and back into us, and it creates this level of here is some safety, here is some presence, I'm here with you. And often find like if there's a lot going on, these simple moments of embodiment where we drop down, take a moment of presence, that feeling like a nap can also be, I feel focused now. Like I feel quiet now. I feel, and in those quietness, in those in those moments of more stillness and presence, that's where we can then tap into what's really present here.
Mm.
Does my sensuality want to come online? Do I have desire in my body? Do I have other emotions? Do I want to channel this stillness into some dedicated focus on my work? Like, it really gives us an opportunity to then be like, cool, we're present, we're in our bodies. Now let's
Mm.
operate from this place. Mm.
Beautiful. That's so nice. It's interesting, right? Because it's like meditate, do the mindfulness, and but ultimately it's a constant. Uh, it's a constant.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just, because you can go speed wobbles, and then it's like I just need to breathe, and it's just that. But also, and I love the layers that you took us through, even in that deep breath of feeling, like mine came through the right nostril and it was like cool. And then there was like when I was sighing out, there was, around more my throat, there was this
Mm.
vibration.
Yeah.
And, but just being with that was just really gorgeous. And, as a facilitator like yourself, being able to just hold that space and to be able to share and, um, it's so potent, this work. And yes,
Mm.
it's just one breath, but like this is life. Without breath, you can't, like that ain't no rodeo. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. So for those who are watching or watching the replay, we can actually overthink, like connecting with our bodies, getting into the layers, blah, blah, like blah, 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 up here, mind.
Yeah.
Okay, go. However, Nikkiema brought up such a beautiful point of just being able to just observe the beautiful breath that you have and how it feels within your face and your body, and where it moves. And that's the simple magic,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Mm.
We if we do like to overcomplicate things sometimes, and like I said, you can go into beautiful, like, in-depth processes for 20 minutes, an hour, longer, and they are so incredible. And how do we like create this muscle of connection? You start at the gym with the smallest muscles, so you start with one breath, and then as you build up to the bigger and the bigger weights, you can do that so easily, because you started and built up. Mm.
Yes, that is so true. It's like the the oracle muscle.
Yeah. The oracle muscle, I love that.
Like we're actually going, okay, cool, the body keeps score. So how would the body need to, if you're meeting yourself in a deeper connection, trying, you're going to the oracle gym, and then you're going, okay, cool, at what level, how do we just slowly increase?
Yeah.
I'm very much like yeah, let's go 100%. And so for me, that's really beautiful, okay. um to take that, to breathe it in and actually go, okay, just baby steps is
Yeah.
enough, the tortoise instead of the hare, some would say,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Yeah.
Mm.
Amazing. So okay, so let's the segue, we're going to go straight into. So what's inspired you about the Institute? Because I'm going to personally say I'm a huge fan. I've worked with them for nearly a year, and the team, and I have just working with the Institute of New Paradigm Intimacy as the general manager for that amount of time just opened me up, cracked me open to a new intimacy of business, of acceptance, of uh, being seen. And I'd love to hear what's inspired you, Nikkiema, in that space, seeing that you're a facilitator and working behind the scenes and
Mm.
sharing your magic.
Well, so I came from quite a business background, and I was used to more corporate structures and things like that. And having the opportunity to work in, as a facilitator and teach the things that I'm so passionate about it was like a hell yes for me. And then diving into the institute further through that, we have an organization that it's based on connection
Yeah.
and our interactions. What we desire most, is this connection to eros and life force, and how that comes through in everything that we do, and how we can bring that to the students at a deeper level. So if I think about like the contrast from back in banking days, and everything's hurried and pushed, and it's results driven and profit driven, and there's KPIs to meet and things like that. And then I think about the Institute, and if we look at KPIs, we label them key pleasure indicators, right? Because how much pleasure can you be in while you're journeying what you're doing for the Institute? How much pleasure can you be in with life, and how connected can you feel as you facilitate with these students and create this space for beautiful humans that are going to go and do incredible things in the world? It's really inspiring to be to feel connected to. And yeah, it's interesting. I caught my language then. I was going to say to be a part of, but it's not. I don't feel like I'm a part. I feel like I'm in connection with it as a whole. And being in this way of business is really reflective of being in this way in life. And when I can combine those things, like, how beautiful does the world get to be? Mm.
Mm-hmm. I actually want to get a fire emoji or something like fireworks, because it's
Yeah.
so true. Like that is, from going from this like potentially like a bit more rigid space and performance driven, and this kind of pushing energy to pleasure energy in business.
Mhm.
And that's what I love
Yeah.
about the new paradigm
Yeah.
of intimacy as well. Like it's got is that juiciness about it. And
Yeah.
with that juiciness comes honesty and truth and um, creativity and aliveness as
Yeah.
well. So it's
Yeah.
it's a whole nother way of doing business, that's for sure. And it's in an organization. And like you said, it's not a part of, it's actually you're in it. You've got
Yeah.
this deep oracle connection energy, and you vibe on a different level,
Mhm.
because it's like the intuitiveness is next level. The like yeah, it's just so
Yeah.
intuitive. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so beautiful. And so speak to us about the new paradigm intimacy and what it's about, because people probably like, what? Like, it sounds incredible. What is this? Oracle. And yeah, like, so please tell us what is the new paradigm of intimacy, and then also what's coming up. Like, I know that
Mhm.
there is a new intake coming up on the 22nd.
Yeah.
But yes, fill us in.
Yeah. Amazing. So I guess like the name the name, the Institute of New Paradigm Intimacy, is all about, like, it's what we're here for. The name is so beautifully reflective that we're creating this new paradigm of intimacy with ourselves and with the world by, through the self-pleasure modality. And when we get to leave the old ways behind of, disconnection and numbness or avoidance or society's dogmas and things like that, and we get to create this new paradigm of how we want to exist in the world. And that new paradigm is steeped in intimacy with ourselves, intimacy with others, intimacy with the eros of life. The beautiful connection that we have with eros gets to be in the intimacy of the new paradigm. So what we create through the school is, we create practitioners who learn how to be in this self-pleasure modality and go and share this with the world. And it's self-pleasure, it's embodiment, it's sexuality, it's how we bring these pieces together to create that new way of being, like, for ourselves, and then out into the world with the practitioners that go through the institute. So it gets to be this beautiful creation of, let's exist how we want the world to be, and let's create ways for that to exist in the ripple effect out in the world, by being embodied, by being deeply in touch with our eros, by being so open and connected to our sexuality that it gets to be something that is beautiful and powerful and creative, and all of those juicy things. So we create self-pleasure practitioners who can take this work out into the world, who feel the deep calling that they want to create change and that they want to exist in the world in a new way, and then support others to exist in the world in that new way as well. So I guess there's some really practical things about the institute and the course, and it's a 12-month program that allows you to really journey deep. We have state-of-the-art content and tools that we utilize each week with the students that they get to access, and the forefront of research in all of these fields that bring embodiment into ourselves. And I think there's some people that just really feel the calling of, yep, there's something stirring within me, there's something there, there's a curiosity, there's a desire to work with people in this really powerful way. So we create that over the 12 months, and we are kicking off again on August 22. So we have our intake for this round, which will run for 12 months from August, and we get to have, beautiful new students and beautiful people come in where they learn these embodiment tools, they learn this beautiful, deep, held space that they get to exist in and hold for others, and they get to journey that for themselves and come out the other side ready to journey that in the world and for others as well, which is just really exciting to me. I could speak about this all day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's incredible. It's that full expression, it's the curiosity, it's the 12 months, it's the tools, the embodiment tools. There is so much. It's it's incredibly jam-packed. And to just feel so supported as well on this journey of deep self-discovery and pleasure and intimacy. Like, it's incredible. And I love how juiced up you get as well. Even I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, I get really like, yeah. Like,
yes.
And I think when we speak new paradigm, the old way of learning was you go to school, you memorize what's in the book, you do a test on it. And what we have is that, our primary focus is being in connection with yourself and your body, being in connection with the other students, like really actually journeying this in your body and learning that way. So yes, there's beautiful content with incredible information in our student portals and things like that. And there's so much power, and our priority is, how do you bring that through your body, right? Like you can memorize all of that stuff to tick a box on a test, but how do you bring that through your body and feel that learning? So
Mm.
that's like our new paradigm of teaching, as well as our new paradigm of being, you know?
Yes. Oh, I just resonate with that so much. Because that's the thing, right? Like I'm actually finishing off a postgrad cert in business admin, and there is no embodiment. It's,
Hmm.
it's truly just watch the PowerPoint, all the best, write an essay, do a group assignment. And I'm like, the paradigm of education, thank goodness for spaces like the new paradigm of intimacy that is able to hold that embodiment piece, which is so neglected in all forms of organizations like universities and schools and education, where it's really not grounded in that
Yeah.
way. Because your body keeps the score, your mind just goes crazy at these tests. But to actually feel like you're actually on a physical level, getting that education and getting that learning that you can take and embody, that's something like that's just wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And I love the analogy of, right, if you meet someone and they've never had an apple in their life, right? You can explain to them, you can draw a picture of the apple, you can tell them what it feels like in your hand, and like maybe you can try and describe the smell to it of it to them and things like that. And they'll have a concept. Like next time someone asks them, do you know what an apple is? They'll be like, yeah, I know what an apple is. It looks like this. People use it to in these kind of dishes, or to eat it just like it is. But until they actually like eat that apple and take a bite of it, feel their teeth sink through the skin and the juice on their tongue and down their throat, like that's a whole new level of knowing what an apple is, right? And that's how I love to describe this new paradigm of learning. Like, we're not just telling you what an apple is, we're inviting you to take a bite and feel the juice and taste it and explore it with your tongue. And there's the whole that level of experience in your body and understanding is what we're about.
Beautiful. I feel like an apple now.
Yeah.
It's like I would like an apple. It's so true. It's experiencing on a level where it's like, just eat the apple. Get in there, eat the apple.
Mhm.
Just delightful. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Nikkiema. That was an absolutely just really beautiful discussion around, connection, intimacy, pleasure. What I loved is that, pleasure is also feeling all the emotions and being truthful and honest with yourself, whether it's grief or rage, and feeling it on a deeper level so you can live life on a
Mhm.
deep level and experience life to its greatest potential, instead of just kind of sleepwalking and accepting that this is the norm, that there is so much juiciness to be had. And with the Institute of New Paradigm Intimacy and their August intake coming up on the 22nd of August,
Yeah.
like that, this is where, if you feel that curiosity and, you hear the ping, go for it, because this is your time to eat the apple,
Mm,
like eat
this is
that
it.
apple.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
if people are feeling that, it's as simple as sending a message to me. That's all it takes to get the ball rolling, and it gets to be just really beautiful and simple, and following that feeling that you have within inside you. Mm.
And I love that. So for whoever's tuning in, if they're watching live or if you're watching the replay, this is the intimacy of it, is that you can actually reach out to Nikkiema or reach out directly to the Institute of New Paradigm Instagram page, and you get connected to a human being.
Yeah.
What? And get part of the team. What? You don't have, and then there's a formalities afterwards. But it is, there is humans, there is like connection, there's intimacy with even the online, like the onboarding process. So just know, like right from the get-go, you're held and you're supported. Intakes coming up, just message either just message, and just get in touch, because that's where, you know, you got to ask the question and got to eat apples, you know, instead of
Yeah.
just thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Come and take a bite of the
come and
apples,
take
you
a
know.
bite. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for sharing all of your beautiful insights and wisdom, Nikkiema. I absolutely enjoyed just being able to drop in and breathe with you. Breathing
Mm.
feels good.
Yeah, it's so underrated, I think. Mm,
So underrated. So again,
mm,
thank you so much for joining, Nikkiema. I'll make sure,
absolutely.
so when I do post this and share it to the grid, I'll make sure that I'll include all the Instagram links and website links as well. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I love you, Nikkiema. Thank you. Your face is still stagnant for me, but I just felt
Oh,
the goosebumps. So, um, and I just, you
oh,
know, those things, it's a deep trust. What will be, will
yeah,
be.
yeah.
But thank you for taking the time and for hearing the call as well. I really do appreciate it, and I just love your juiciness and that staticness around what you do, and it's so beautiful and so freaking important. So keep it up, keep sharing that beautiful knowledge of living an ecstatic, full expression life.
Mm,
Because it's so important. Pleasure, intimacy, connections. Like, come on, team, come and join. It's all very exciting when you can drop into your body and have a good time. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, just thank you so much.
My
Mm.
absolute pleasure. Thank you as well. This is just, I love these conversations. I love connecting like this. So my absolute pleasure. Mm,
It's juicy. Yeah, it's actually quite fun. I love these. Like, I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
let's have a chat. And I love it. We've actually gone like, it just beautiful. Just let it flow, let it be, and I'm here for it. So thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who tuned in. What an absolute pleasure to have you all. To everyone who's watching the replay, welcome. Enjoy watching. It'll be reposted. So yeah, you know the gist. Until next time. Thanks, Nikkiema. Have a beautiful day. And to everyone
mm.
who's watching, have a beautiful day as well. Sending you so much love.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.